As video games continue to explode in popularity, players keep finding new ways to compete against each other. Speedrunning is a type of esport that spans nearly every genre and involves players attempting to complete a game as quickly as possible. In the past few years, platforms such as Twitch and YouTube have made speedrunning much more accessible and mainstream than it once was. The idea of racing to finish a game or specific level isn't at all new. People have been timing themselves and pushing games to their limits for nearly 30 years. Now, speedrunning is one of the most popular types of esports, and players are constantly uploading new best times to leaderboards. This recent surge in popularity and ever-growing community poses some unique questions. How has speedrunning evolved since it started? How does it differ from game to game? What makes a game good for speedrunning? And what the heck is up with all these different game genres? We'll explore all of this and more on today's episode of The Rundown.
Good afternoon. Welcome to the 4th episode of The Rundown. So I have Sam and Chen, and I am the guest today, Timmy Fong.
Nicely done.
Nice.
Today we're gonna talk about speedrunning and kind of like go into details about a bunch of different varying video game genres.
Mm-hmm.
Should be a fun episode.
Get into it?
Get into it.
Let's get right into it.
Yeah.
All right.
What games do you want to talk about first?
We just talk about like what is speedrunning.
That's a good place to start.
Okay. So like
What is it?
it's when you try to like beat a game as quick as you can, and it's usually done with single player games. It's usually easier to do, and
That
you
makes sense, yeah.
compare your times with other players that also play the game.
Yeah, so speedrunning I think is just like another form of competitive gaming, right?
Yeah.
Because instead of I guess going for like you beat them in terms of like, oh, you won, they lost, it's more of like, oh, you were more skilled and you had a faster time. It's just like another way of expressing skill, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's kind of like a race against all the other players in the world that speedrun that game.
And you just try to beat it as quickly as possible and upload your time to a website and compare it with other people.
Yeah, verify it, everything.
Yeah.
'Cause I think it mostly became, well, I guess it became a thing after like Doom came out, I think, right? Because Doom had like a demo
Level timer.
and also they had like a demo feature where it was like you could record like a playthrough of a level and then you could like play it back. It like saves the file. So that was
Yeah.
like the first replay system, I think.
Yeah, and it was like one of the first games that kind of brought popularity to speedrunning. And
Yeah, because it was like when games were just starting, there wasn't like an easy way to record gameplay footage.
yeah,
And so like Doom when it came out was like one of the first.
yeah. And then I think what other games followed Doom?
Quake, I think.
Quake.
First it was like Doom and it started making it popular, and then Quake made it very popular.
Yeah.
And GoldenEye was really popular.
GoldenEye was also one of the original
for
speedruns,
speedrunning.
These are really
It's
old
like
games.
Metroid and like Super Metroid too, I think.
Oh, Metroid. And also, yeah, like usually games that are easier to speedrun, they're usually like 2Ds, platformer,
Mm-hmm.
kind of like Metroidvania. You guys have anything to say about that?
Talk about it later.
Okay.
But yeah, so I think it's at first it was like someone made a website for Doom specifically, I think, and then someone made a website for Quake specifically after that came out.
Yeah.
But then I think they made a more general, broad website for that, for like started accepting all
Like
the games.
mini
after.
games,
I think
yeah.
it was the owner of the website uploaded like a Metroid Prime speedrun, and then after that they started like accepting more, like all games basically. Like,
Yeah.
broadening.
I know back in the day too, like before the internet was a big thing, you used to be able to send in times to magazines,
Yeah, that was the
like gaming magazines.
Oh, wait, that's so cool.
And like
Yeah,
you
I think
could
that's
see-
why
No way.
Metroid was one of the ones that also started, because I think it was it was Metroid Prime, or like one of the Metroids. It was like Nintendo Power, which was like the Nintendo magazine monthly subscription thing. They
Yeah.
they were like saying, oh, if you like have a really good time, submit it in.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Actually, no.
Those were like the first leaderboards.
I think the first one,
leaderboards.
the first leaderboards. Yeah. I think the first example was an Atari game called either Drag Racing or Dragster or something.
Drag. Well, what's an Atari game, first of all? I don't know.
I don't really know how to explain Atari.
Okay.
Is just
an
Atari
old
is one of
gaming
the
console.
earliest consoles. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
It's things like Pong and E.T. Those are the only Atari games I can remember.
And was GoldenEye on?
No, GoldenEye is definitely not an Atari.
All right.
But just like it was like very basic games.
Yeah.
And then I think a Dragster or Drag, I don't remember what it's called, but it was like one of the first games that was made with like a built-in timer, and the whole point was to like compete to see who's the fastest.
Yeah.
Because I think part of the game instructions manual was like, oh, if you can get a time under 6 seconds, 6 minutes, I think it should be 6 seconds. It was like, oh, you can submit it to Atari, and then you'll become a part of like the dragster club, like professional club or something. It was like some name,
some like exclusive thing.
but it was like the first instance of like competing to try to get the best
And, like-
time to become
Like when the game developers actually like incorporate speedrunning into their like design, like that was the first time.
yeah, basically,
Yeah,
kind of.
Yeah.
And they've been doing that for a while, like including level timers built
Yeah.
into the game.
Yeah.
But
And
I think
like
like, especially in the early times, though, a lot of the game developers put those things in not for speedrunning, because speedrunning was like very, very few people
Niche.
that did it.
Yeah.
So they just put.
It's still
timers
pretty
in.
niche.
It is pretty niche.
Yeah.
No, I think it's a lot less niche now
Yeah.
because of Twitch.
That's true.
Like, it
that's
like
true.
recently blew up a lot in
Yeah.
popularity.
Should I talk about Celeste?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Alright.
Timmy is
I know you've been
is a
dying.
speedrunner himself.
All
I've
right.
been
So
dying to talk
I
about Celeste.
speedrun a 2D indie game called Celeste. It's a pixel perfect platformer, and it talks about the like you have to climb a mountain. You
Oh
need-
yeah. So
Alright.
let's say what the game is like to a
Okay.
casual player first. Okay.
Okay.
What you started doing. So
Right.
yeah, it's a platformer.
Yeah.
It's 2D. It's charming. It's a
Right.
pretty. I think
Yeah.
it's a pretty nice story.
The story is
It's
like,
just about like overcoming self or
Yeah, like-
gaining like self confidence,
like
like finding yourself.
battling your inner demons.
Literally, yeah.
Yeah.
And going over a what's it called? Like hard achieving a hard goal.
Yeah, climbing
Like
a mountain.
climbing a mountain, basically.
Climbing a mountain.
Yeah, and that like the base game itself is like that. It's like really it's just pretty chill, relatively chill. And
No,
like,
it's not. Wait. Oh, yeah.
the
okay.
base game is
Whatever.
whatever, chill.
Whatever.
The harder levels for speedrunning, yeah, they're much harder. But, and then the speedrunning
The
aspect
speedrunning.
of Celeste.
Okay, so I could just talk about like the basic movements first. So you
Yeah,
have
okay.
like WASD, go left or right, jump button. You also have a climb button
Yeah.
and a dash button. And basically the speedrunning part is when you use all these different inputs in combination to make new moves, and you try to come up with the most optimal path to beat a level.
Does Celeste have categories of speedrunning?
Yeah,
Because I
yeah.
know there are a lot of games that have specific categories.
Yeah. The most popular one is any percent, which is just you try to like beat the mountain, you climb the mountain as fast as possible. But there are other categories too. There's like get all the strawberries, like collectibles.
100%, I guess.
100%. There's like a true ending one that you have to like collect all the hearts or something. I don't know. But there's also individual level runs. So this is like the mountain is broken up into like 7 different chapters, and you can have like individual leaderboards for each of the chapters as well. And any percent is all of those chapters combined in one run. So
And I think for speedrun in general, any percent usually just means like just beat the game, right?
Yeah,
Let's just talk about like
Let's talk about
what
categories, yeah.
speedrunning, what speedruns in different games have in common.
Because like
So
I
there's,
think
like,
they
there's
had to break
different
speedrunning down to a bunch of different categories because
Yeah.
people are like doing different things for every speedrun, and some were more like broken,
Hard.
I guess,
Yeah,
than like
yeah.
others.
So like most games that are speedrun have an any percent category.
yeah, I think all of them do.
I think all of them,
yeah.
yeah.
Any
where it's
percent.
just you try to beat the game as quickly as possible.
Yeah.
Is any percent like you can skip levels and things?
You can skip or do
yeah.
whatever you want.
I mean,
It
there's
is, right?
different
You can make-
variations. There's like any percent. There's any percent glitchless.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
Not counting glitches, I guess. It's just like it's just beat the game.
It's just beat the game. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, because then there's also like 100%. I don't know if that's what it's called. Where it's like you have to do everything in the game. Like
yeah.
if it's Mario Brothers, for example, it's like beat every single level, go in order. You can't like do the warp pipe stuff to like go from like world 1 to
Yeah.
I don't
like
remember.
yeah.
okay, and then
There's also like individual level runs that
yeah, that's for all.
you have to use like a lot of different strats. If you like for any percent, it's usually a longer run, and so you want to have like more consistent strats. But for
yeah,
like
because I think
yeah,
because I think talking about that a bit. I think for Doom, like when it first started, it was just individual level runs,
yeah,
and then they made a video called, or a movie they called it, called Doom Done Quick. No, I think it was Quake. I think it was Quake Done Quick.
uh-huh.
And then which was basically they stitched together a bunch of like the best runs for individual levels to make one full run that's like really good.
Mm-hmm.
And then that basically, I think that started like the idea of like, oh, maybe we can actually run the full game. And then like you were talking about, some strats are good for individual levels,
Yeah.
but not for like,
Yeah, it might be detrimental
games.
overall.
It's like high risk, very low
it's like
reward.
high risk.
Mhm.
But I think, well, I guess that's more the case for speed running like against someone else, because that's the thing that's like becoming
Yeah.
popular, like versing someone in speed running just to see who can beat it faster.
You just want to talk about splits really quick?
Oh yeah, we can talk about splits. It's like
I guess what is
What
the
is a
split?
split? Yeah.
I guess it's kind of like in track and field.
Yeah.
Like in track and field, like athletes, they have splits. So like for 400-meter dash, they have a split for like how fast they get to the 200-meter, to the 300-meter, and then the 400.
Mm-hmm.
And so it's similar in like video games like Celeste. So I know that like a split for the first chapter is like 1 minute, and you have to beat it by 1 minute. That's a good time.
Yeah,
And,
it's just like a checkpoint, right? Well, not checkpoint because like you don't start
Yeah,
from there,
yeah.
but it's like a marker, like a
It's a way to keep track of
it's
where
just a
you are
reference
or
point,
how you're
basically.
doing.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's a reference point.
It's
to see
like
how
to
you're
see whether you're like behind the time you want, or like you need to go fast.
doing. Yeah,
Mhm.
basically, like what?
Yeah.
Like
how-
if you're really behind, it might be worth doing something that's
basically,
risky
yeah. It's just a way to keep
Yeah.
track of how you
or
do.
like restarting the whole
or
run.
restarting.
yeah. And usually it's like the timer starts when you gain control of your character, and
Yeah,
then it
yeah.
ends when you lose control, right?
Yeah, yeah,
I think for most games.
yeah. And some people use like this app called Live Split, and it's
Yeah, there's like a lot of
yeah,
good like things that are developed, like technology thing,
yeah,
software and everything developed for speedrunning now.
yeah,
Yeah, I think that helped with the explosion in popularity with speedrunning, because a lot more games have been seeing way more players.
And something else I guess we can maybe talk about is like glitches and glitchless runs, and like no major glitches runs. You know,
NMG.
that was going. Oh, no major glitches.
yeah,
NMG,
yeah.
That makes sense.
Yeah. So I guess okay. So like, what is a glitch?
I guess what's the example? Yeah, sure. What's a glitch?
Okay.
That's a good
so
place to start.
it's just a bug that you can exploit, that you play the game in a way that developer didn't intend
Yeah,
to,
glitch is just like an unintended consequence, like something
Yeah.
happening.
and sometimes like
You can
I
take
could just say-
advantage of it.
Yeah. So like in Celeste, there's a glitch called a demo dash, and basically, if you crouch while dashing in the air, your hitbox is smaller, so you could go through walls. And so
Mm-hmm.
the developers, they actually really like that, and they decided not to patch it. So like patching as in like fixing the bug,
Yeah,
because it was just so cool to see it in being used in speedruns.
that's like a minor glitch, right? That's like not a major glitch.
It's
like-
pretty minor, but like it's
Like
used,
it would be an example of a
yeah.
not
Or like a
major
major
glitch.
one.
Because I think major glitches are usually like super game breaking, and like
Oh, that's true.
Yeah,
that's
true.
what I mean. Like
Oh, game break.
Like I think
yeah, I
of,
mean, like what glitches are allowed in no major glitches runs? Like
Oh.
examples.
No, I don't think Celeste has any game.
Yeah,
breaking
yeah.
glitches.
Celeste doesn't have
yeah,
any, but
no.
there are some games that have like
Like-
super
like
major.
Dark Souls 3 for that speedrun, you can break that game so
Yeah.
easily.
Doom as well.
Doom as well.
I
Yeah.
feel like Elden Ring's already being broken.
Like
a
Dark
lot,
Souls,
too.
all those games, you like look into a wall and then you just do something weird and you like shoot across the map.
Yeah.
Yeah,
exactly.
there's so many
there's things like that.
super
yeah.
frame
Yeah.
perfect spot
Yeah,
on the
yeah.
ground. You do like a
Oh yeah,
tiny-
Doom. Yeah,
Yeah.
you're right.
Like-
Doom does have a
Right,
broken
right.
speedrun. I did see. I remember that now.
because Elden Ring has like zipping.
Yeah,
And
and
it's
then
like a frame perfect crouch move forward or something.
Oh,
Like,
yeah,
you
yeah.
teleport.
and it
super
like
far.
flings you across the map.
And then you do things like you fall out of you load into the boss arena, and then you like fall out of the world or something, and then
Yeah,
like,
yeah,
it
exactly.
kills the boss.
So
or
that's a game breaking.
Like,
glitch.
that was-
That's a major
that's
glitch.
example, right?
Yeah. So
and then glitchless is just like no glitches in the run.
yeah, and
At all,
sometimes
yeah.
the difference between like glitchless runs and no major glitches is like really huge.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Like I know some games like you could beat it in a minute with glitches, but without glitches it takes so much longer.
Yeah,
Like
because without
hours.
glitches, you're just
Yeah.
playing through the game.
Yeah.
You can do like some time saving like shortcuts, but it's like usually just like
Mhm.
part of the game. Like they intended for that to be possible.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you want to keep talking about Celeste, or you want to move on to a different game?
Go on Minecraft.
You're talking
Oh,
about Minecraft.
Minecraft. I love Minecraft.
Tell me about Minecraft. Here.
Yeah, yeah.
All right. So
What's your PB?
Minecraft speedrunning has exploded in popularity recently. I think like 2 years ago, Minecraft started becoming super popular again
Because of a random person you might have heard of.
because
True.
of some YouTube influencers. And so with the explosion of popularity came an interest in speedrunning and any percent Minecraft random seed. So in Minecraft worlds, every time you make a new world, you make a new seed,
Mm-hmm.
and every world is unique and different.
Yeah, the seed is just like the label for your world.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
So isn't there like some luck? in
There's
there?
like yes,
It's
it's
all
entirely
random.
luck.
Yeah, there are there are speed runs that are like all luck based, really.
Right.
And then there are speed runs that
So there's different categories for Minecraft speedrunning. So there's random seed, which is the most popular, and then there's set seed,
which is stupid.
which is
Wait, what's wrong with set seed? It's skill.
yeah, set seed is skill.
No,
Yeah.
I'm sorry. That seed is stupid. I
What do you
watched a
mean?
run. It's just he knows exactly where every single thing is, and it's like the
Yeah.
most optimal seed. Like, yeah, it's still
It's less
just-
impressive.
yeah, it's less impressive. Like, it obviously still is impressive. But it's like he loads in, instantly goes to the exact block where something he
Yeah.
needs is. And like,
So set seed, you can predict everything and know where everything is.
You can
Yeah, it's just
you can memorize.
like, set
the
speed
world.
is practice and
Yeah.
just perfecting it, and then
But
random seed is
random
like
seed
adapting.
is experience and adapting,
Yeah.
which is why I think a lot of people like random seed in Minecraft.
Yeah.
But it also makes it really frustrating to play.
Yeah, it's like all
while
luck.
you're speedrunning, because 99% of your attempts will be
bad
bad
luck.
bad luck. Yeah.
Yeah, like you need, like you could be like super good luck, super good time, and you need to do like one thing. I don't know, like the Nether Fortress or something. That's like part of it, and you just can't find one at all.
Yeah.
It's like, runs over.
Exactly. So yeah, most of your time will be spent looking for a good seed,
Restarting.
like just restarting
Yeah.
over
Oh,
and over
restarting.
again,
Oh yeah, I've seen that.
and
I've seen
then
those.
finally you'll get a good one, and it might fall apart halfway through.
Yeah, and then when you finally get a good one, you might choke, like get nervous,
or you
and-
might choke. Exactly. And then it's on to the next one. But I think a lot of people liked how luck based it was, because it kind of felt like anyone could get a good run.
Yeah, I guess there's part of it that's appealing.
That's what attracted me to it, because I definitely was not skillful enough. But if I could just get lucky, then maybe I
Do you have
could.
do you have a time for your?
Have you ever completed a run? That's what he's asking.
time?
No, but I did get pretty good splits.
What are the splits in Minecraft?
Okay, so you load into the world. I guess the first major split would be, I mean, different people split differently, depending on like how they choose to plan out their runs. But generally, it's how quickly can you get to the Nether,
Netherworld.
which is a
Yeah,
necessary.
different biome.
It just like it's a different area, yeah.
Yeah, and then
And then how quickly can you get your blaze rods, which is like a necessary item.
necessary item.
How quickly can you get your ender pearls, which is another necessary item.
Just how quickly you can get everything. You
Yeah.
need, and then
Yeah.
The final.
So
goal is to,
I
like,
guess the three necessary things are, getting to the Nether, and then getting the 2 items you need,
Yeah.
and then getting to the end,
Stronghold. Oh yeah, to the end, I guess.
Yeah.
And then defeating the dragon.
and then defeating the
is, like,
dragon. So
final
those are
boss.
like the 4 major ones.
Yeah.
And I've seen like speedrunners when they get to the dragon, they do something weird and kill it.
Oh yeah,
instantly.
the beds.
Do you know how they? What
Yeah,
is
it's
it?
just using beds.
So
What does it mean?
the idea is that in the end dimension, so like there's 3 dimensions in Minecraft, right? There's the overworld, which is where you spawn in at the beginning.
Okay, I thought you meant 3D.
There's
No,
no.
yeah, too.
That
It is
too.
3D.
Then there's the Nether, which is where you need to go to get the items
Mm-hmm.
to get to the end, and at the end, that's where you fight the final boss.
Right.
Yeah.
To beat the game.
Mhm.
And the idea is that in the end you can't sleep.
So when you try to
So when you try to sleep
you
in a
explode.
bed, your bed explodes.
But how? Oh, and then you
Yeah.
use that to damage the.
Yeah, you
so
use the
you
exploding
get
bed.
the dragon close to the bed, and you just, like spam the beds and spam them.
Yeah. So when the
explosions.
dragon comes down from flying, it's called perching.
Uh huh.
That's when it comes over like the top of the portal. And then that's when you would put down a bunch of beds, because beds are really easy to get.
Yeah,
And you like collect them throughout the run.
you like
the
raid a
beds?
village.
Yeah.
usually.
So generally, the number one thing you're looking for when you're restarting is you're looking for some sort of a building or a structure.
like a naturally spawning structure that
Yeah.
has like.
So generally, you're
inside.
looking for like a village. And
Yeah,
then
that's-
when you go to the village, you get food, beds, and you kill the golem
get
for iron.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And then with the iron, you get a water bucket. And then
Uh-huh.
with the water
Yeah.
bucket, you look for
Do the
lava.
portal.
Oh, dude.
You do the portal,
Portal technique.
and then
do a lot of stuff like that.
yeah, it's a bunch of steps, but it's like every run is
But
really
it's
unique.
like I guess that's like an example of how like speedrunning can improve how like the technique people use, because like
Yeah, it's-
usually
it's an
Minecraft,
A casual player would never play Minecraft the same
yeah,
way.
like, usually Minecraft Ender Dragon fight is like, kill all the beacons that are healing him on like
Yeah.
the tower,
Mhm.
and like slowly maybe shoot arrows at him, like slowly damage him.
Now people can one cycle him. One cycling.
Yeah,
is,
now people can just like kill him instantly.
Yeah.
One cycling is when it
like,
comes
they
down.
out damage the heals. Of the
Mhm.
thing, you don't have to break them.
Yeah.
So when it comes down to perch, you just kill it the first time it perches.
Yeah.
With the beds.
With the beds.
With the beds.
Yeah.
With
But
the power
that's-
sleep.
One
Okay.
cycling is really hard to do.
Oh.
Like it's actually kind of hard.
Oh my god. And it's an example of like speedrunning tech.
Yeah, exactly.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah.
How speedrun can just like
Yeah.
people.
Cause
In the beginning, speedrunning was a lot more like what's it called? Isolated? Is that the word? Like it's single per. Like people didn't really want to share techniques. And
Oh,
stuff
yeah,
in the
that's true.
beginning,
Yeah.
that's what I mean.
Yeah, some
But
people
yeah.
they just keep their techniques to
Yeah,
themselves.
in the beginning, everybody was like
Yeah.
super competitive and didn't
Yeah.
want to,
I think
give
now
everyone
the
else.
community is way like nicer,
Yeah,
and
because
everyone wants to see the time go down.
Yeah, in the beginning, it's I want to be the best, and to now it's just like, oh, I want to see someone else achieve this thing.
Yeah.
and be
I
the best.
I want
Like,
to. I want.
they just want to see
this
that's possible.
accomplishment.
Yeah, they want to see that
Yeah,
accomplishment.
and there's also like the degree of like creativity in speedrunning, and
Mhm.
it's fun to come up with your
Yeah,
own.
exactly. It's a lot more collaborative.
Yeah.
and like
for
Come
sure.
up with your own like different routes, different techniques that you came up with by yourself. So
Yeah, and a lot of people like do like route planning.
yeah.
When new games come out, that's like a big thing. It's like who can find the best way, like the best route.
yeah,
I used to watch a bunch of Breath of the Wild speedruns, and
those
that
are
was
great. Those are actually
those
next
are
level.
insane.
Breath of the Wild speedruns are crazy.
I used to. So there's like I used to watch the 100% category, but
Okay.
100% in Breath of the Wild is like a 30-hour speedrun.
Yeah, because it's like every shrine
Yeah,
probably.
Wait, that's
actually-
so
It's like a few-
big.
it's like
That's like a
100.
marathon.
yeah,
yeah,
Okay, don't you like?
yeah. So or it might not be 30, it might be like 20 hours, but
probably something. It's a lot.
it's definitely more than 15 hours.
How? You have to eat.
No, no, they don't.
No, gaming is more important.
That's wasting time, bro. It's wasting time on
You're
your
losing
TV.
time. No lunch split.
No lunch split.
But yeah, I was like, those routes are constantly changing because it's such a long speed run. That's like 19 hours or something.
Yeah, like and
Like
it's such a big game.
people are constantly making better improvements versus a smaller, shorter game. It's like
not much changes between
Yeah.
speedruns.
less than an hour. It's like they're all the same run
Yeah.
basically.
Yeah, like smaller games, it's pretty much like you just have to optimize very little. But like for
Mhm.
big
Yeah,
games,
big games is like a lot more creative.
Yeah,
probably.
yeah.
Oh, we can talk about tasks.
Oh,
Tool
tasks.
assisted
Oh.
speedruns.
Yes. All right. So that's basically when,
It's like a robot, I guess.
yeah, you like modify the game so that you are able to do things that aren't humanly possible.
Or if they are humanly possible, it's like super precise
Super,
and
yeah, very-
unlikely to happen.
So it's like frame perfect things.
Yeah, you
and-
might do like, I don't know, 20 frame perfect jumps in a row.
Mhm.
Something like that is possible technically, but like almost never gonna happen.
Yeah.
Like it's so that you can see what a perfect run looks
It's a proof
like.
of concept
Yeah.
a lot of times.
See what a perfect run.
I
is.
think it started. I think the first major or first tool assisted speedrun that got a lot of attention was for like Super Mario Brothers 3 from
Yeah,
a
yeah.
Japanese speedrun, I think, and he like put it up and didn't say it was tool assisted because it was like not a thing yet, and then he just said like, "Oh, is this like Super Mario Brothers 3 done in fast as possible?"
Ah,
People thought it was like a human that did it, and then like he had to say that it was tool assisted, and like
Yeah.
people are split on how to feel about tool assisted speedruns.
yeah.
I think tool assisted speedruns are really cool.
Because before people like in the beginning people think like, oh, that's just cheating, or like, oh, that takes no skill, even though it still takes skill to make a good task, but it's like, oh,
Yeah, because you're still like the human that's making all the moves.
Yeah, you're
for the
still
Yeah,
robot.
you're still making all the moves. It's
Yeah.
just you're making them at a rate and
yeah, because
that
it's not
you
like
couldn't normally.
you're just putting like a AI to play the game or anything. It's like you're
Yeah.
programming everything still.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you're putting all the inputs into the program.
Like I don't think an AI would be able to come up with like the task level stuff that humans.
no,
come-
definitely not.
Yeah.
So yeah, usually it's proof of concept or just for like looking cool.
I know a decent amount of tasks features for Mario Kart Wii because that is a pretty in-depth task community.
Yeah, because they have like discovered some super crazy.
Yeah, they know
glitches.
they have glitches in
like,
tasks
super
that are
precise.
not possible at all for a human.
Yeah,
that-
some of them too.
And there's also like the degree of like competitiveness among people who task the game.
Mhm.
Yeah, it's like another speed.
It's
Yeah.
a different category.
Yeah.
Yeah. Who can make the fastest tasks?
Yeah, exactly. What were you saying about Wii? We're gonna
Oh,
say
my
Yeah,
gosh.
Mario Kart.
Yeah, Mario Kart. Can I
It's
talk
like
about
a-
Mario Kart for a little bit?
Yeah,
yeah.
sure.
Yes. Oh my god, I love Mario Kart.
I love Mario Kart.
Mario
speedruns.
Kart Wii is so much fun.
Okay.
Basically, everyone knows Mario Kart. You race around a track as quickly
It's
as
a racing
possible.
game, of Mario, Nintendo characters.
But Mario Kart Wii was known for its ridiculous shortcuts called ultra shortcuts.
Yeah.
And that was like its kind of call to fame in the Mario Kart franchise.
You just skip like 90% of the map at least.
Yeah, exactly. So the idea is that I'm just gonna give a quick rundown.
Yeah.
Around the track, there's like blue checkpoints, which are not necessary, and then there's like
he's actually going into
there's key checkpoints. So
Okay.
the blue checkpoints are if you fall off the map, that's where you
This
respawn.
is so confusing for some
yeah,
people.
I know. I'll be quick and simple.
All right.
So the blue checkpoints are just where you respawn if you
Yep.
fall off, and then the key checkpoints are the idea that you have to go through every key checkpoint on the
For a lap to count.
racetrack for a lap to count.
That's how the game is programmed to like keep
Yeah,
track.
exactly. But some people found out that I'm not going to get into the nitty gritty, but
You already are.
Already a little bit.
if you go
You have
past
to.
a certain checkpoint, then like the one behind it doesn't load,
Yeah.
which
Like
means
weird
that
stuff.
if you can find a way to get back to the spot behind the one before
Uh-huh.
and you go through, then the lap counts and you can skip the other key checkpoints.
Yeah.
Also, you save so much time.
Exactly.
Exactly.
Oh.
You just
But
kind of
it's
like
only
circle
it's
around
only
it,
possible on some maps though, where you're able to navigate it.
and like abuse how the map is structured. Yeah.
Yeah. I could think it was similar, like in Celeste. There's like similar skips that you have to you respawn in like a part that's way further ahead in the level, and it saves you so much time.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So it's kind of similar to that.
Kind of.
Yeah, that would be an example of another major glitch, I think.
Yeah, definitely.
Like no ultra shortcut is a category for Mario Kart Wii.
Yeah, because you have like the most basic where it's just like race the track normally, go
Mhm.
around the track, and fastest time, and then you got stuff like that where you're like
Just
jumping across half the map and
Exactly.
dying on purpose to respawn behind the checkpoint, like
Yeah,
the lap
yeah, yeah,
marker,
exactly.
and having a count.
Like killing yourself on purpose.
Exactly.
Yeah,
And
that's a
then-
strat.
And then yeah, it's pretty cool.
It is pretty cool. It's like really cool to watch
Yeah.
because it's so creative and like it's like how do people discover these things sometimes?
Yeah.
Oh, you guys want to talk about Source games?
Source games.
What do
I
you mean?
love Source. The Source
Oh,
like
engine.
the Valve-
Source Engine games.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can.
Yeah, sure.
Okay.
I don't know much about
So
it.
I don't know much either.
Valve
Or I know what they are.
made
but I
the
don't
Source
know, I don't know
engine
speedrunning.
for
It's a game
Wait,
engine, right?
yeah, it's a game engine.
I mean, for a lot of games,
Yeah, they used it for a lot of their games.
and it was like really innovative and like
Mm.
what's it called, revolutionary at the time.
Yes, at the time, but the problem was that its movement system.
Oh, you're talking about like the back
Yeah,
bunny hopping speeding up?
Exactly.
Oh, I love bunny hopping.
The movement system in the Source engine. So game engines like each have their own physics and their own
They have, like, a physics
movement
engine, yeah.
and whatever.
For Source.
But for Source, yeah, their movement mechanics were really kind of broken. So you're able
What's
to do some funny stuff where
I think it's just like when you're moving backwards, there's no there's no
There's no
cap on your
maximum
speed. Yeah, there's
speed.
no maximum speed moving backwards, only for moving
exactly.
forward.
And then also in the air, I think there's no maximum speed,
oh yeah, you can like airstream.
which is why like you
things.
try to stay in the air as long as
I'm
possible.
just thinking of Half-Life speedruns.
Exactly. So there's
Oh.
a mechanic called bee hopping, which is now no.
It's like crouch jump. It's just like
It's
jumping
it's
nonstop
notorious
for,
now,
like,
and it's like become kind of a more overarching term in many games.
I guess yeah. But
'cause-
it's just like timing your jumps
Mhm.
so that you're in the air as much as you can, right? Usually,
Yeah.
And it's like moving diagonally
Yeah,
gets you
like
forward.
strafe
fast.
around in the air
Yeah.
because you usually speed up as you're turning in the air.
yeah, and other games have implemented bee hopping now. Like Valorant has bee hopping.
I mean, yeah,
but
a lot of
that's
games kind of have V-hop.
Yeah,
It's,
have
like,
But it
not
was
the same.
was it originally from the
from the Source,
Source?
engine.
I think so.
Yeah.
like from
Well,
the
that was
for,
where it
for
first-
Source Engine, it was B-hopping backwards.
Yeah.
because-
You can bee hop forwards too in that.
Yeah, but backwards, there's no cap on
Yeah.
speed, so like you can be moving crazy fast.
So what games come from the Source?
So I think of CS:GO, Half-Life,
Half-Life, Portal, I think.
Portal,
Oh, Portal.
and then
I guess
Portal
For,
speedruns.
yeah, I guess for
Portal.
speedrunning.
Oh my
For
god.
speedrunning, I guess it's just Portal and Half-Life that are really relevant because you're not gonna speedrun Team
And
Fortress
then-
2 or something.
but for a lot of people don't know this, but for Titanfall 2,
Oh.
that is a highly modified version of the Source engine,
Oh.
which is
wow.
why
Pulling out that
a lot of like
like
that
similar.
that category or that game is kind of popular for speedrunning because people like the Source engine, and you're able to do some funny things
Yeah.
in Titanfall.
Yeah, I know. And like, I just want to talk about Portal 2 speedrunning for a
Portal
little
2
bit.
is so much fun.
When you watch a speedrun of Portal 2, It's like you put the portal in like the strangest places, and you go at like.
I think we should explain what these
Oh,
games
yeah,
are.
yeah,
before we
okay.
talk about a bunch of like.
Okay, that's true.
All right.
What-
Yeah, Portal 2 is just
Yeah, let's skip over Half-Life. I don't know how to explain Half-Life.
Yeah.
I don't know anything about it really.
you
I
want to
Portal
explain
2
Portal
is
2?
a
Yeah.
puzzle game.
It's a puzzle game.
It involves you at the most basic level putting down 2 portals that you can like walk through one to come out the other. And it's,
Yeah.
like,
And you
solving
like put it on
puzzles.
certain walls.
You can only put it
Yeah.
on certain places. Yeah,
Yeah, and the premise is like you're in this like abandoned laboratory.
you're like a test subject in an abandoned
Yeah.
laboratory. Yeah, and there's like an AI robot that's like running this facility
Yeah,
and like does a story and everything. That's really good, but
the story is really good.
you're
But-
speedrunning. You don't care about any of that.
yeah, but for speedrunning, when you watch the speedruns, it's just ridiculous at how fast they go through the
Yeah.
and they
You
know,
know exactly where to shoot the portals.
yeah, and they like go
I
backwards
think
sometimes.
for Portal 1 probably more.
yeah,
'Cause, like Portal 1 has the bee hopping backwards,
yeah,
no
yeah.
limit
Mhm.
speed thing, so like it's even faster paced.
Yeah, and like older games, the speedrunning is more
You
interesting.
can you
Yeah,
can
honestly,
break older games
Yeah,
much
old
easier.
games are more interesting because how
Yeah.
broken they can be.
yeah, and also they've had more time for people to like,
Yeah.
figure
Find
out-
weird things to do
Yeah.
with them. Yeah.
Like new games, developers are trying to not have glitches and bugs on purpose because that's usually not a good thing in a game.
Yeah,
but-
yeah, yeah.
I say that, but then you have Elden Ring, which has zipping, where you're literally teleporting miles
It's
forward,
part of that,
and
yeah.
like all the things that they
It's
do.
a game mechanic, Sam.
It's a game mechanic. My bad. It's a play style.
Intended. It's
It's
intended.
a play style.
Yeah, it's a feature.
That's the way. That's the way we can talk about. Okay, a speedrun like Elden Ring is so boring.
Oh yeah, that's true. Yeah.
Like some speedrun categories are like impressive with how hard they are to pull off. Because like Elden Ring zipping, I think is literally like a frame perfect movement input that you have to do
Mhm.
at certain spots, and it's
Yeah.
like super hard to do. But when you watch a speedrun, it's just them like
Wait, should we explain?
crouching forward and moving over and over again.
Wait, should we explain what frame perfect means?
Oh, wait, what is
Oh,
a frame? What is
yeah.
That's
okay.
true.
That's
That is
true.
What is a
Okay.
frame?
We've been talking about that the whole
Yeah.
time.
Yeah, what's a frame in gaming?
Okay, so I think most games they run like they render the screen at like 60 frames a second.
Yeah. Some older
Yeah.
games do 30. but yeah.
So like
I think a frame is 0.166 seconds or something.
Yeah.
0.016.
So there's the frames that the game is showing you, like your personal frame rate,
Yeah, yeah,
and then
yeah.
there's the frames that the game is actually
true.
running at.
Yeah, but
yeah. And so frame when we say like frame perfect, it's like it's timing.
yeah, frame perfect which just means it's like less than a mil. How fast is a frame? I don't remember.
It's pretty linear.
I think usually it's
1/60th of a second.
yeah 1/60th of a second probably.
yeah. And so like some
Or sometimes 1/30,
yeah.
depending on how
Yeah,
quickly
it depends on the
it's
game. But
running.
it's basically super
Each
precise.
game runs
Yeah.
at its own frame rate, but
It's just a really precise input
Yeah.
that is hard to pull off.
like precise timing wise. And then
Yeah.
there's also like precise as in like pixel perfect. That's like
Pixel
the
perfect is,
location
like,
on
a
the screen.
Location, yeah, and a pixel is like just like
Yeah.
the squares that make
Yeah,
up
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
a game. The tiny little squares, and you have to like be on one of them or something.
yeah.
Yeah. All right, so back to Elden Ring. So you said it was
Okay,
boring.
yeah, that's what I mean. Things like this, they're super hard to pull off, and they are impressive because they're so hard to pull off. But it's so boring when you have
Yeah,
a game
yeah.
like Elden Ring, where it's all about like like fighting bosses and being skillful,
Mhm.
and it comes down to for this kind of speed run. Like, obviously, there's categories for a reason.
Mhm.
Because like there's categories where you have to beat every boss or at least a few bosses, but
Mhm.
like the any percent with glitches allowed is literally just you teleport around and you like fall out of the map so that the boss dies instantly, and then you fight like 3 bosses,
Yeah.
and all of them like that. You just fall off the map.
Like certain speedruns are more interesting to watch than
Yeah,
others.
so it's like it
yeah.
speedruns sometimes. I guess my point is like sometimes speedruns can be like super hard to pull off and technically interesting, but like gameplay wise or like
As
Not
a
very
viewer,
fun.
it
as
kind
a-
of ruins the game
as a
with
viewer,
how they
yeah.
run it. But like yeah, it's impressive.
Yeah.
A game I love to watch speedrunning is Super Mario 64.
Yeah, that
Oh,
that
yeah.
makes sense.
That
Mario
is-
64 speedruns are really fun. to
That
watch.
is the
It is an
it's
old
the
game,
most
right?
It's the most
popular
popular
speed-
speedrun,
It's
yeah.
the most popular speedrun, I think. What it goes Super Mario 64 and then Odyssey.
I don't know what the order is, but I just know
And
the
then
top
Minecraft
5
and then
has.
Celeste.
Yeah.
Is that the order?
I'm pretty sure.
Okay,
Well,
Alright, so-
Minecraft might be sick. Okay, yeah.
they're in the top 5.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yes, Mario 64 is so much fun, and all the splits are the same. So there's 3 major categories. There's 16 star,
Wait, what's
72 star, and there's 120 star. So
Star is like when you complete.
yeah,
a
so
level.
in the
Oh,
game,
okay.
like you complete certain tasks to
Or
get to
tasks,
earn
I
a
guess, yeah.
star.
Mm-hmm.
And the back in the day when it was speedrunning, the like first major like glitch they found was that you only needed 16 stars to actually get to the final area.
Yeah, that was like one of the biggest.
Oh.
Yeah.
And that's where the 16-star category came from. But I mean, since then they found out that you can just get to it with like 0 stars.
Yeah, it's
But it's
just
not as
start
popular.
getting-
Yeah. In the game, the way the game was intended was that you needed 72 stars to actually get to it.
Yeah.
And then 120 stars is the total number of stars in the game.
Mm.
So I guess you could think of 16 star as like any percent, 72 star as like any percent glitchless, and then 120 star is like 100%.
100%. Yeah.
They were like,
I just thought of a better way to phrase what I wanted to say earlier. I think what I meant was like there are glitches. The reason there's glitchless is because sometimes when the glitch is too big, it makes the game not fun.
Mhm.
And that's probably
Right.
what I think that was
Yeah.
what I was trying to
Or
say.
makes it less competitive and less
Yeah.
interesting.
Less interesting, less popular. 'Cause
Mhm.
like
But
you were
all-
saying,
yeah.
like there is 0%, or like you can beat Mario 64 with like 0 stars.
Yeah.
But it's not popular because like when there's no stars at all, versus when there's at least some stars, it's like the 16 star has
Yeah.
more showcase of skill, more like creativity and things.
Exactly.
yeah. So like
So you need like a balance.
what about like Mario 64 is like makes it so interesting to watch to speedrun?
I think it's the perfect.
You're going down.
Yeah, you should not
It's
have
a
asked me
rabbit
that
hole.
question.
Oh, okay. Well,
I'm
okay.
about to nerd out.
We just talk generally.
Yeah, so I think that
Go
it's
down
like
the
it's the perfect length of a speedrun because 120 star I think is like 2 hours.
Pretty long.
It's like 2 hours long.
2 hours.
And I think that's the most popular one, or that's the most competitive one.
Yeah.
Because there's a lot of room for improvement in 120 star.
Mm-hmm.
And there's a lot more creativity, and I don't know, it's more fun to do.
Mhm.
And then there's 72 star, which I think is like 40 minutes long, or
I
something.
don't know.
Something
I don't
like
really
that.
watch Mario 64 speedrun.
It's like 40. It's less than an hour.
Yeah.
And that one is good because it's long enough that you feel like if you mess up, then your run's not over and you can keep going. So it's not as like punishing.
I guess, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But it's not so long that you have to feel like you're constantly consistent and doing everything right all the time. Like you can make a few mistakes.
Yeah.
We can talk about something actually. I just thought of.
Okay.
Okay. I guess an example, because there are games that are like been around for a very, very long time, and then they've been what's it called?
They have a
Improved
legacy.
upon like for so long, and like strategies have been practiced and improved and for so long that like I guess what you were saying, how like for Mario 64 some categories, like if you make a mistake it's more forgiving, but there's some games where it's like not forgiving at all because of how like what's it called,
Short it is.
short, but also just like how precise and
Oh yeah, that's true.
accurate I guess like players have gotten with like what they need to do.
Yeah.
Like the original Super Mario Brothers, like
Mhm.
how I think like theoretically humans are one frame away from perfection.
Oh wait, yeah.
Yeah, like it's literally one like a point. It's like 1/60th of a second away from getting like the fastest possible time, humanly possible time.
Yeah.
Like, is that where the current record is? It's 1 frame away.
No, it's
think
like
so.
when you combine all the human
All
records.
the human records.
Oh yeah. It's not. No, I
Yeah.
don't think anyone's done it in one complete run yet.
There's
It's
no
like
way.
when you combine all the best times for all the necessary levels.
Mm-hmm.
Then you get 1 frame from
You're
task.
1 frame away from like the
Task.
most fastest humanly possible time.
That's so
Or I guess the
crazy.
current currently discovered fastest humanly possible time.
Mhm.
Yeah. Super interesting.
It is really interesting. I think speedrunning as a whole is super interesting
Yeah. I know.
Speedrunning is like one of my favorite.
because
You
it's just like so
gaming.
creative.
You could get it like Super Mario 64. You could get into like a whole. There's so
We've already
many-
been talking so
Yeah.
long
There's
about
so much.
speedrunning.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's just such a big topic that's super and like
yeah.
it shows because like GDQ, which is like games
Oh,
that
yeah,
include
yeah.
the marathon for
It's like a
a
charity
charity event
charity organization.
where basically it's just like a marathon of speedrunning where it's like a very like a few days now it's like a week or I think around of just like people speedrunning live in
Right.
front of people. It's like a event.
Yeah.
And usually they like explain what they're doing or like things like that. And they also have things like tasks, showing off task speedruns or like having speedrunning competitions between two popular runners or something.
Yeah.
And I think it started off from like a very small group and they like hosted the first one like in like the person's basement or something, and they raised like $10,000 and they only went for like 52 hours.
Uh-huh.
And then it ended up like the money that they raised and the popularity just started growing exponentially. Because I know like then it became like around like 50,000 raised or something, like 30,000 or something, and like a few 100,000. I think 2013 they reached $1 million raised for the first time, and it was like 5 days long or something. The event,
Yeah, I think it's
3 to 5.
It's also
And,
like, oh wait, keep going.
like it's just one, yeah. And then like in 2019 it raised $3 million
Oh wow, yeah.
for charity, and then it was like a week long. So like it's showing that like the community is growing a lot,
Mhm.
especially because of things like live streaming and other,
Yeah.
like the accessibility has gotten bigger.
And like they invite like top speedrunners from like
Every game, like,
respective
yeah.
games, and to compete against each other, and it's like
It's just like super cool.
yeah,
And it's not like cutthroat competitive at all. It's very
Yeah, it's meant
calm
to be casual.
and it's like these people get to show off the game that they play and like explain how they do it.
Yeah, because like them speedrunning live, it's not like they mess up, they restart. They're not going for a world record. Really, like if they get
unless
one,
they
it's even more
unless they
crazy.
do, I think they.
Yeah,
so.
if they do get one live, it's even crazier. But
Yeah.
like if they mess up, they're gonna keep going. It's just like
Yeah.
super casual and chill, and
Yeah.
explaining what's happening.
You just want to move
Let's
on
talk
from
about
speedrunning?
let's talk about some specific game genres.
Specific games. All right.
There's a lot of
Game
too many
genres.
game genres for games, and there's
There
a lot
are.
of overlap. So
Yeah.
it might be hard to
Okay.
explain some.
No, it's fine.
You just want to run down the list of game
I
genres?
guess yes.
Yeah, okay.
Okay. So MOBA games.
Okay, what does MOBA stand for?
MOBA is multiplayer online battle arena.
It stands for something?
Yeah. It's an acronym.
I didn't know
You
that. No, I thought it was
Yeah,
just like what it was
multiplayer online
called.
battle arena.
I guess that makes sense. Okay.
Yeah, and
I know where. Okay, I get.
I mean there are examples of super popular MOBAs like League of Legends, Dota 2, Smite is pretty popular. and
Smite.
Heroes of the Storm.
Heroes of the Storm.
Two of them are not like the I'll say that. Two of them are like the most popular games in the
Yeah.
world, and the other two are kind of dead. But
Mhm.
Yeah.
they're all
And-
Dude, that
MOBAs.
Smite player base is popping off. I don't know what
going
you're talking
crazy.
about.
Yeah, and so MOBAs usually you have like you choose a character or a champion with special
Yeah, to be
abilities.
fair, I don't really
Is
know.
it
how to
usually
ex-
5v5?
I don't know. I could if I explain a MOBA, it's gonna be based on like League of Legends.
Yeah, no, fine.
That works.
You want to
Okay,
talk about like where MOBAs came from? I think it came from WoW.
RTS.
Dota,
It came from
Wow.
RTS. RTS.
I think it
Wow. Yeah.
was Dota a mod of.
Yeah, so WoW had a
World of
game
Warcraft.
mode. Sorry, sorry, Timmy.
World of Warcraft.
World
These
of War-
acronyms.
Mhm. Okay, World of Warcraft. A game by Blizzard Studios.
That name.
Which got bought.
Yes,
But-
by
Wait, okay,
Activision.
that's different. That's
Yeah.
That was super popular in the early 2000s. And there was a mod of the game, like a mini game mode, made
Warcraft
by fans called Defense of the Ancients. I think it was vanilla.
was it for Dota? Was it for Warcraft or was it for Diablo?
No, Warcraft.
No, definitely Warcraft.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it
no,
was-
Diablo is something completely different. Yeah.
Yeah, it was called Defense of the Ancients, and then eventually
was
got
the-
popular enough where it became its own private
standalone
game.
That
Yeah,
happens a lot, actually.
yeah, like PlayerUnknown's PUBG.
Yeah, I'll talk about that later.
Okay,
too, probably.
yeah, we'll talk about PUBG later.
It's
But
just like a lot of times that happens where it's like a mod. Someone makes a mod of a game where it changes the game completely to be like a different genre, and then it gets popular enough where they like officially make a new game.
Mhm.
so I think that was the first MOBA was Dota.
First popular one, definitely. I don't know if it's the first, but
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, and Dota obviously stands for Defense of the Ancients.
yeah. And then
Which was-
usually, I don't know if it's true. Literally, my knowledge of a MOBA is Dota 2 and League.
Yeah.
So I don't know anything about Smite. or
Those are the
Dota
main
story.
ones. It
But yeah,
doesn't
those are
matter.
the two main popular ones. Other
You-
than like mobile game MOBAs, but those no one cares about
Yeah,
those
no,
other than like
No
Asia.
one cares about mobile game MOBA.
Yeah, so there's like 5v5 usually. You pick a champion that has a
Or
number
character.
of abilities, a character
Mm-hmm.
or a champion in league again. Has a number of abilities, and basically it's just like you as the game goes on, both players have a side and they have like structures, they have like a base.
Mhm.
And the goal is to just destroy the enemy's main base. And
Mhm.
like you as the game goes on, you like gain things like gold and like experience points to level up, and you can like unlock new abilities and then like upgrade those abilities to become more powerful.
Mhm.
And it's just like slowly working your way towards like overpowering the enemy by buying items using your golds, and like
Working with your teammates.
buying
Yeah.
items like using your gold. Oh, dude, from MOBAs is a meme is it's a category, it's a genre of game where you actively work against your teammates to beat the enemy.
Yeah.
We've talked about that in the last episode. League of
Yeah.
Legends Korean solo queue. The
Oh, yeah.
toxicity.
Yeah.
Like,
that's
yeah.
all.
So I guess that's MOBAs. Yeah, it's just like there's a lot of like skill in the smaller sense, which is called like micro.
Micro. Yeah. Just.
I think it's just micro. Yeah, there's micro, which is like how good you're
your
using your
micro
character.
game and your macro game.
Yeah, how good you are at using your character, your abilities, and like how skillful you are at 1v1ing like an enemy or something, like beating them. And there's macro, which is like decision making.
Mm-hmm.
Like, and especially in MOBAs, things like like where you go, rotating your team members,
General
like,
game knowledge.
yeah, just like making general decisions to slowly, or I guess more subtly, like overpower your enemy.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
I guess that's
Next
MOBAs.
up.
Yeah. MMORPGs, which is
So like.
try to guess this
Warframe.
what's the acronym.
Is it Guild
Oh,
Wars?
I know this one. Massively multiplayer online role-playing games.
Oh my
He's
God.
crazy.
Gosh.
He got it.
MMO. I know. I think Eve Online is that.
Oh,
MMR?
yeah. I think
Okay, yeah, there's a lot.
Eve.
there are too many to cover, but
We don't have to name too many games for every category.
Okay,
I guess,
fine.
But so like, I guess the biggest ones are like World of Warcraft, like you
Yeah.
said. There's RuneScape, which was older.
Yeah.
Well, I guess World of Warcraft is also pretty old. And then
RuneScape is huge in
RuneScape,
South America.
yeah.
Did you know that?
I didn't. In
Really?
South America, really?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it's like massive in South America.
Wow.
Final Fantasy 14. That's a really big MMORPG.
Oh, I'll talk about this later. Sorry.
Lost
I just had an intrusive thought.
Lost Ark. That was like a recent one that came out.
Oh,
that's
Lost
super
Ark, yeah,
popular.
yeah,
And then,
yeah.
like,
Mhm.
Path of Exile, which is like a free one.
Is Rust MMO? No.
No.
Okay, never
Rust is
mind.
something else that I
No,
can talk about.
Okay.
Oh
okay.
God, Rust.
Okay.
Okay, really
Wh-
quick
what did you wanna say?
tangent. I just want to go off on. I saw some crazy thing. I forgot what country it was. Some country in South America.
Hmm.
The players from there literally destroyed the entire economy of RuneScape because they banded together and just like farmed gold.
Oh, that's happened. And
Yeah.
I've heard of examples of that.
But they farmed together and like just farmed up gold for so long that they just destroyed the entire economy and like bankrupt everyone in
I know.
RuneScape.
For EVE Online, which is
Oh
like,
yeah. No.
um,
We should explain. We should explain what a MMORPG is. I mean.
I mean, yeah, okay, yeah.
Yeah.
But
Yeah. Whatever.
I just want to go off what he said.
Okay. Okay.
For EVE Online, I know it's like it's a space themed one
Mhm.
where have space battles and space wars.
I don't know
like,
how to
entire
describe an
fleets.
MMO.
I don't really know either. I kind of actually it's pretty
Alright.
easy to describe, to be fair. But it's like I know that like there have been wars and like huge battles that have lost like tens of thousands or like hundreds of thousands of real world money equivalent.
Yeah.
It's just things like that. Okay, yeah. So MMORPG is massively multiplayer online.
Right.
That kind of speaks for itself. It's an
Right.
online, huge server of like hundreds of thousands of okay, maybe
Sometimes.
not that many, but like
Sometimes.
yeah, they're like super big servers with a lot of people playing at the same time together.
Mm-hmm.
And then role playing game RPGs. How do you describe what an RPG?
Just
RPG
casual.
means, like every game is RPG.
Yeah,
honestly, at
I
this
mean,
point.
kind of.
I mean,
Or-
usually it's story driven, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, you get to. The idea is that you get to make your own character.
Role playing game
generally.
comes from like tabletop games, basically, like
Tabletop
like
games.
D&D, yeah.
Like Dungeons and
it is
Dragons,
like
you mean?
D&D, yeah.
Like D&D.
Which is like
I love
they
D&D.
translated that into a video game. That's what RPG games originally were, and that's why usually in the beginning it was like turn based combat, like so it can like mimic D&D combat, or like real. Like,
Typically, either you make your own character or you follow the main character very
I guess
closely.
like the main idea of RPG is like you're going into another world, and then you're like you play the role of a character in that world,
Mhm.
and you're like immersed.
And you get to
into that.
customize them
Yeah.
and stuff.
So that's like what an RPG is in general.
Mhm.
But like every game is an RPG in a way. Honestly,
Kinda.
like the definition of RPG is super
Broad.
broad. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I don't have too much to
Anything-
say for MMORPGs.
yeah.
I don't really play them.
Warframe.
Warframe.
Does that count as? I guess
Yeah.
that
It
does
is.
count,
It
yeah.
is. It's like
I don't know. I
You
think
get-
I'm biased because my mindset of Warframe is not a game, just grind.
yeah.
It is just grind. That's the number one thing.
I don't
in
call it a
Warframe.
game. It's
I
a
mean,
chore.
like most like massively multiplayer RPG games, they're usually free and they
Mhm.
usually have some kind of like in-game market.
In-game currency, yeah.
Currency,
You buy those.
They could
and you, like,
use real money and
I think
They're
okay,
like their own functioning little mini worlds.
yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
I think MMORPGs are one of the most interesting genres because
Yeah.
of like how much freedom you have.
Yeah, and because
Like-
there's like an actual such a big player base generally for these games.
Yeah, like actual like super interesting events can happen in
Exactly.
these games.
And
like clan faction wars or like clan
Yeah.
battles or
yeah,
like
since there's so many people, like
market failures.
the game has its own
market.
economy.
Yeah.
The game has its own economy. Like you can imagine the possibilities.
Yeah.
I still think it's so funny that they crashed the economy in RuneScape.
And I
It's
think
like
usually MOBAs have like a main story, like a main quest line, and like usually
Mhm.
they get expansions, like more story, and there's like a
Mhm.
bunch of different parts of the world. It's a super big map,
Mm-hmm.
bunch of different areas you can visit. You can like do quests together with friends, or you can like do them alone. And usually I think they have like bosses that are like super hard and like
raid bosses.
big scales, large scale. Yeah.
Leroy Jenkins.
What?
That was for Mr. Mayor.
Okay.
And then so yeah. And then like usually you have to have a plan, work together, and then like, you know, take down a raid boss. That's what they're called, together. That's like a general theme in
WoW
MMORPGs, I guess.
specifically.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I guess MMORPGs is just like a lot of emphasis
Giant
on
community.
and,
Mhm.
like
Yeah.
tight community and things like that.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Next one.
RTS games, real-time strategy games. What are those?
I'm out.
Alright.
I know nothing about this.
I know not a lot. Timmy,
Okay,
you're the
I'll
expert.
talk about it. Okay, so RTS, yeah, real time strategy. It's like you control an army in real time. You have almost like full control of what like each like little soldier does, and basically you can like train up your army. You build a good economy, make a massive army, go kill your
Yeah, so
opponent.
usually it's like 1v1,
Yeah.
2 bases, and then you manage resources, and then
Yeah.
you control army and try to defeat the other enemy's base. That's
And
basically-
it's one of the first genres that like popularized esports.
Yeah,
as-
StarCraft.
StarCraft, yeah, I can talk about StarCraft. Should I?
Yeah, do it.
How much?
Like
No,
a
maybe
little,
not too much.
a little,
Let's
Yeah,
not- let's
a
not
little
do too
bit.
much.
a little. So I know in StarCraft there's like 3 races.
Yeah,
Yeah,
you know that.
okay. I can talk about there's 3 races. There's Protoss, they're really high tech aliens that have like really high value units. So you only need a little bit of them, and they have a lot of spell abilities.
It's just like playstyles, right?
Yeah, the play styles, yeah. So each race is your own play style, your own you can like play the game however you want.
Yeah, so there's that one, which I already forgot the name of.
Protoss, yeah.
Protoss. There's
Terran, the
Terran,
humans that
It's like average, like neutral, I guess, to get in the middle.
it's like very defensive playstyle. You have like a lot of multi-prong harassment, very mobile.
Zerg.
Zerg, very you basically just
Chaotic.
swarm the opponent. You want to have
Zerg Rush.
Zerg Rush.
is super
There's-
small.
yeah,
Little cost.
like
minions.
low cost units, but you have
Rush
so
them.
much.
You can get so many of them, and you rush
Yeah.
any of them. It's just playstyles, yeah.
Yeah, that's actually my main race. So
So I guess
yeah, I like it.
explaining StarCraft, that's what it is.
yeah,
But then there's other RTS games that are really popular, like Command and Conquer.
yeah, those are
and, like,
old.
Age of Empire. Those two are
Yeah.
older.
Yeah. Age of Empires. I know a new Age of Empires 4 recently came
I
out.
think in general, RTS is not a super popular category.
Yeah, that's true.
It's like pretty small.
It's
It doesn't have a lot of games.
it used to be more popular, but these days the only popular RTS is probably just StarCraft.
It's just StarCraft 2, I think.
Right. And it's already a 10-year-old game. And yeah, so I think it's slowly like
It's a
losing.
smaller genre, yeah.
Yes.
Compared to
I
what's-
read something at some point that the RTS genre is just dying slowly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Compared to something like MOBAs or
Mhm.
well, I guess not really MOBAs. MOBAs is just like 2 games.
I mean, there's probably a reason for it too. It's just really hard to get into.
It's
Yeah,
a pretty
exactly.
it's a pretty
Like,
niche
audience.
like you need to
Jinx.
like like you have to like be able to multitask. It's like really intimidating to get into.
Yeah,
an
it's
RTS.
hard to start playing.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
I can attest.
It's not for like casual.
Yo, what are you trying to
Like,
say?
What do you mean? No, I'm just
Trying to
saying.
say about me. I
No,
couldn't
I'm
play
not,
the game.
I'm
That's
not
too
saying.
hard.
I'm not saying anything about you. I'm just saying like in general.
Okay, yeah.
Mhm.
Like games, they should try to like market toward like casual players. Otherwise,
I
you
mean,
know,
yeah, if they want to be really popular.
Yeah.
But still, it's good that exists.
yeah,
Mhm.
yeah.
What else is there?
FPS games. This
Oh,
is,
yeah,
one
that's
of the
your
titans.
specialty.
Your specialty.
Yeah.
This is one of the titans. Some of them are like the big categories.
Okay.
Mhm.
FPS is another one of them. Like RPGs, it's like so many things can be FPS, and FPS can mean so many things. Because you got like standard, I guess, like stereotypical FPS game. You know, you have like Call of Duty, Halo, Battlefield,
Mhm.
where it's like usually, you know, like war themed or like something like that. It's just like first person shooter. You play in the first person perspective,
Mm-hmm.
and it's a shooting game. You like use guns and you're shooting people.
Yeah.
I don't know how else to describe it. And there's like other
Pretty accurate.
There's usually other nuances, but like yeah,
Yeah, but like people make their careers in like FPS games a lot.
but yeah,
Yeah.
it's like one of those popular esports
Yeah.
FPS games. But then there's like I guess, how would you describe Overwatch and Team Fortress 2?
Hero based.
I guess hero based. Yeah, there's like hero based shooters where it's like individual characters have like specific playstyles and abilities.
It's like kind of like a mix between FPS and MOBA.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's a good way of saying it. And then there's like tactical shooters like
Mhm.
Valorant, CS:GO, Rainbow
Mhm.
Six Siege, except even like the Siege is also different from like CS:GO and Valorant, but
They're a lot slower and more.
they're like you don't rush. Those are usually like more punishing when you die, and you don't just like rush in.
More
Yeah, you have to
more
plan more.
realistic, like
Kind of more realistic, yeah. And in the case of like Valorant and CS:GO, there's like more nuance because there's like an in-game economy too for like each like match,
Mhm.
where you have to like build up money
yeah,
to like
and
buy
you have to
equipment.
be
every
smart
round.
with your money and how you
Yeah, so
spend
there's
it.
like more nuance basically. It's just like different types of FPS. And then I guess for something else that there's for FPS, there's battle royales. That's another subgenre,
Mhm.
which
You mean like Apex?
exactly because there's
I love Apex.
battle royales. There's PUBG. There's I think the big ones are like PUBG, Fortnite, Apex Legends,
Mhm.
Call of Duty Warzone, Call of Duty Black Ops 4 for a bit. Those are like all FPS battle royales.
Mhm.
And well, I guess first a battle royale is usually like
A bunch of
a
players
large
on a
group of
large
players
map.
on a large map or playing something, and then like they slowly eliminate
Last
people,
one standing.
and it's just last one standing basically. For FPS battle royales, usually it's like you go around the map finding there's a large map, you drop somewhere, you find equipment, find weapons, find like survival tool equipment, and then like last one standing, you just try to like eliminate other players and try to not die.
Yeah.
But then there's things like Fall Guys, which technically is a battle royale.
Uh-huh.
It's like it's like a party game, more casual, where like you put mini games and then like whoever loses gets eliminated.
Mhm.
And there's battle royales for a bunch of other games that usually don't have battle royales, like
Battle royales have exploded recently.
basically like when it was at its peak popularity, like everyone tried to copy the trend. Because then there's like Tetris 99 and Mario Brothers 35, which is like battle royale for Tetris and Super Mario Brothers.
Yeah, like spin-off.
Like there's like spin-offs like that.
Yeah.
So like
Now, like
Because
most
it
games
was-
have a battle royale mode or something.
yeah.
Yeah.
And I think,
'Cause- yeah.
well, I guess something we mentioned earlier, another example of like something that was a mod and then became its own game is PUBG.
Oh,
Was that a mod for H1Z1 or?
It was PUBG came from a mod for DayZ.
Oh, DayZ.
Which was a mod for Arma 2.
Arma
So,
2?
Arma 2 was a
Military sim.
military simulator game, another one of those.
Oh.
And someone made a mod for it where it added like zombies or like AI that behaved like zombies into the game, and then that ended up becoming DayZ, which is like a super popular set of mods, I guess, because it wasn't really its own game for a while, and then when it came up, the standalone kind of died. That's a different story.
Mhm.
And then someone made a mod for that, kind of, or someone made a server with mod rules that kind of made it more survival PvP. I think that was like what it's called, where it's like it has the idea of like you go around the map and there's usually a lot of weapons. You find weapons, and the goal is to like fight people.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And what happened was that genre of servers kind of like got ignored for a while, and they like weren't really improved on. And then someone called Player Unknown came along and noticed that there was like a gap in the market for those type of games, and then he made PUBG, Player Unknown's Battlegrounds, and that like it exploded in popularity and like set the whole trend for battle royale.
Did it come out the same time as Fortnite, or like?
PUBG
Way before.
I
Way
think
before?
PUBG came out way before Fortnite. But
Oh,
it's
okay.
not. Yeah,
I don't know when PUBG came out, but Fortnite came out like 2016.
I don't really know for either of them, but yeah.
Mhm.
So I guess that's battle royales.
Mhm.
Yeah, it's a
It's just
very
like fast.
Big genre.
oversaturated.
It is
genre.
oversaturated and it's kind
Yeah.
of dying down.
Yeah,
Yeah.
It was just like popular. It was trending.
Realm
Yeah.
Royale, anyone?
Hyperscape.
Hyperscape.
More dead games.
Yeah.
Okay, what's something else we can talk about? There's a lot of categories for games.
Oh my
yeah, okay.
gosh,
Just
we're not
choose a
even-
good one. Choose a good one.
Yeah, let's just go through these faster.
Okay, yeah, fighting games. Okay, so there's traditional fighting games. Fighting games are usually 1v1.
Yeah.
Pick a character, has a specific moveset, and you use like nuanced combos to try to eliminate your opponent's health.
Mm-hmm.
Usually it's like 1v1, and these games like Mortal Kombat, Street Fighter, Marvel
Smash.
vs. Capcom, Injustice, Tekken. These are like really big classic fighting game genres or series. And then there's Smash Bros, which is like
The most popular right now, right?
the most popular and also the weirdest fighting game because it's when you hit someone, their percentage goes up.
Oh,
And
yeah.
how Smash works is every single map has like a blast zone, or kind of like has like a radius around the map, or like a square around the map, where it's like once you go past that, you lose, you die.
Yeah.
And the idea is as you when you hit your enemy or when you do damage to them, it adds percentage to them instead of health. And when the higher percentage they are, the farther they get launched,
Thrown,
basically.
yeah.
So it's like the easier it is for them to get launched. So the idea is to like eliminate them by not letting them get back to the stage.
Yeah.
So like Smash, when it came out, kind of changed the genre.
It's also
a
like
lot.
one of the most like interesting sports to like is it an esport? I
Yeah,
don't think
yeah,
so.
of course.
But it's really interesting to watch.
Fighting games are also
yeah.
super big and interesting because of like how much freedom you have. Because like it's just like practicing combos and putting together moves however you want. I guess that's more of a Smash. Because for normal fighting games, there's like a lot of specific inputs for like certain moves, and usually there's like a super big move set. They have to memorize all of the inputs for like to do any of the moves. That's one type of fighting game, and you have something like Smash, where it's like super basic inputs and not a lot of moves you can do, but you have a lot of freedom of movement and like when you use the moves. So yeah, it's like that's like I guess the two main types of fighting games. We can talk about. I mentioned survival games, so we can talk about that. I guess there's usually they're open world too, so open world survival. There's like Minecraft, Raft.
Is Rust now? Is that?
Rust, yeah, Rust is
survival.
Rust is
Okay.
also that. What's the name of the game where it starts off with you crashing in a plane and you're on an island?
Forest.
The forest. Yeah, that's
Oh.
another big one. And usually those are like you got to collect resources, build a base, survive against like AI enemies, or in the case of Rust against the real players. It's like multiplayer survival too.
Yeah,
It's just like, usually just, you build a base, you get resources, you get stronger and stronger, and when you die, you lose everything and restart.
Let's just talk about Rust for a little bit.
Do you like Rust?
Do you like?
No, I just
What about Rust?
I watched a video about like people just making like fake bases in the game.
Oh, Rust is crazy. Rust
Yeah.
is so toxic too.
And like you start off with nothing, but you can like steal all the loot from other players, like ransack their village and pillage them. And it's like people turn into
Well, I
degenerates.
guess that's another feature.
Say degenerate.
That's a feature of multiplayer survival games. They're like, what's it called? How do you describe it? Like live servers? Does that make sense? Like when you
Yeah.
leave the game, the server is still going.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
when
yeah.
you leave your base,
it's
it's
vulnerable.
still there. It's not like when you
vulnerable.
leave, you're safe. Yeah, it's
Yeah.
vulnerable. So that's like a theme, I guess.
Uh-huh.
And yeah, it's just like survival based. And usually there's a story and maybe there's like an end goal for like the forest or like the raft. There's like a story and everything. But usually you can play them forever. They have like infinite replayability. It's just like surviving. And you can build. You have like a lot of creative freedom of like building massive bases or doing whatever you want. So yeah, that's a sandbox game aspect of it. That's like another big thing. Sandbox is just like you can do whatever you want.
Yeah.
You can like build whatever you want, really. Okay. Souls-likes. I mean, not so. Yeah, Souls-like games.
Based on Dark Souls, right? That's
Souls-like
the
game is
name.
just Dark Souls, honestly.
Yeah.
It's just what's
like
it called?
super difficult.
From software.
Yeah, From Software. That's the studio, and then Miyazaki, the like creator of like Dark Souls. Because like I think like those are the main games. Like that, every single game made by him basically is like the main Souls like defining games. Like Demon Souls, Bloodborne, Dark Souls 1, 2, 3, Sekiro, and Elden Ring.
Usually they're very like unforgiving.
Yeah, they're
And-
basically the theme of these games are like super hard,
Yeah.
super unforgiving, but super fair.
Yeah.
And it's usually all like if you die, it was your fault,
Mhm.
and it wasn't like the game being unfair usually.
Yeah.
And yeah, like it's like super rewarding when you beat these games because like you know that you got good and like you became more skilled to beat them. And I think another theme for these games usually is they're like, they tell the story subtly, like with the environment, or at least for Dark Souls. I think that's like usually what happens.
Yeah, you can get in as into the story as you want to.
Yeah.
It's like it's there, but it's not shoving it down your throat.
Yeah, so these games are like focused on difficulty usually and like gameplay.
Mm-hmm.
And
and the
'Cause
story's like kind of taking a backseat.
Yeah, because I know when Miyazaki, the creator, had like pitched the game idea for his first one, I think Demon Souls, he had to like hide what the game actually was, because like this wasn't a genre yet, and people think like, oh, you're making a game that's meant to just be hard and frustrating. That's not gonna sell. But like he proved them wrong, because it's like one of the most popular series or genre ever, especially with Elden Ring, which came out, which is like open world.
Elden Ring
Souls-like.
exploded the Souls-like.
Yeah.
So like Souls-like is just like we said, difficult but fair and rewarding to play.
Yeah, Elden Ring on its first day had 10 times as many players as Dark Souls 3 at its peak.
Really?
That's crazy. But yeah. Factory games, let's do that.
Oh, I don't know much.
I love factory
you
games.
can talk. Yeah.
Okay, I guess factory games in general are you want to expand your factory. And it's
there is no goal other than expanding.
it's just expanding.
Grow the factory.
factory must
That is
grow.
the only
Exactly.
thing.
Must
The
grow.
factory must grow. Rule number one.
Yeah, it's like automation based usually, and it's just like making a factory that's super efficient.
Yeah.
And it's a sandbox game usually, again, where you have a lot of freedom.
You're just trying to expand and make everything as efficient as possible.
Yeah, it's just like for, again, like a pretty niche audience, but they are so satisfying.
They're
especially
so
to
much
watch.
fun.
Yeah. Apparently, it's really addicting. Okay. Yeah.
It is really addicting.
Yeah.
And there's Factorio. That's like
Factorio.
probably the biggest, honestly, biggest game. And there's like Satisfactory, Dice Interior Program, Astroneer, like a bunch of other games.
Oh, Astroneer is a
Yeah,
factory.
yeah.
I didn't realize that.
I mean, it's also open world, like
Yeah.
survival, and like so a lot of these are also like survival. A lot of factory games are also survival, and open world and sandbox. Roguelikes versus roguelites.
Is there a difference?
There's a difference.
No way. No.
So roguelikes are basically both roguelikes and roguelites with a T share a set of like 3 core mechanics, which is basically random levels, character progression, and permadeath.
Permanent
You
death.
die, you restart from like the first level. And the difference between roguelikes and roguelites is roguelikes have no progression between each run.
Oh.
So basically, when you die, you restart from like absolutely nothing again. And in roguelites, you might carry over things like upgrades. You might unlock new items that you can get in the next run, or you might like get experience points that you can like use to upgrade your character and help you get stronger. And I think roguelikes are like not as popular for kind of obvious reasons. I think there's like not a lot of games either that are like completely roguelikes. I think Darkest Dungeon, Dicey Dungeons, and Loop Hero are like 3 popular games that are definitively roguelikes. But even then, I might be wrong, because most games are at least a little bit more of a roguelite.
Like they have
roguelikes.
progression.
Yeah.
I mean, that's what makes a game fun.
Yeah, exactly.
Is Risk of Rain a roguelike?
Risk of Rain is a roguelite.
Oh, what do you carry over?
New items. If you can unlock new items for the next run, it's a
I didn't know
roguelite.
that.
Well, same with like
Yeah.
Binding of Isaac.
Yeah, Binding of Isaac.
Yo.
Risk of Rain 2, Hades, Dead Cells, Slay the Spire, Enter the Gungeon. These are like really, really popular roguelites.
Yeah.
That are a lot more popular than roguelikes, because they're like a lot more punishing, and I think most people don't make a game has like 0 progression between.
Yeah, like while there's still like permadeath, you still have some feeling of accomplishment.
Yeah, roguelites are a lot more popular and common because of that.
Yeah.
Okay. Last category I have written down, at least,
Okay.
simulation games, which is again a really big genre that can mean a lot of things. Because you have something kind of obscure like Euro Truck Simulator, which is like
those. Okay, I get it.
that part. Yeah,
Okay.
that's what I mean.
Okay.
Because you have that where it's like, driving simulator games. So like, Euro Truck Simulator, where it's like super realistic and you're driving a truck, you're doing tasks. Microsoft Flight Simulator, again, hyper realistic, and you're flying a plane.
Oh, what was the famous one? Kerbal
Space Program. That's
yeah.
a bit different, but
Yeah.
like that counts as a simulation game too.
Yeah.
That's like, building rockets and going to space.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, simulation games are, as they sound, meant to be realistic, like a simulation.
Mm.
And then there's things like I guess there are games like also like The Sims or City Skylines or like Planet Coaster, where you're managing a city or like a park, or like literally being God in The Sims and you're managing people. But
Yeah.
like things like that, it's like sandbox, and you build up you like build whatever you want. Like you control everything. Like
yeah,
you're
yeah.
God.
You play the game like how you want to play.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then but then there's also things like Squad, Arma 3, like the Arma series, like I said earlier, like SWAT 4, Ready or Not, like FPS simulator games, are like hyper realistic shooters. Because like Squad and Arma 3 is like war theme, military sims. And then there's like SWAT 4 and Ready or Not, which is SWAT team sims, and like yeah. So I guess the whole appeal is that it's like super realistic and difficult and punishing.
Yeah.
When you are too stupid for some of them. But then there's like City Skylines where you can just do whatever you want.
Yeah.
And you can be as stupid as you want.
Very free.
All right.
That was a lot.
That was a lot.
That's not even like a lot of every genre. There's still so many more.
So many genres.
Yeah.
Co-op games. We didn't ever talk about co-op games, but
Okay, well I guess co-op is like
that's too
super.
long.
Okay, co-op game as a genre will be like single player versus multiplayer. Those
Yeah.
are genres, but yeah, super big genre.
Horror games.
I didn't talk about horror games too. Horror games are just scary games.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Whatever. Yeah.
All right.
Okay.
You want to get into?
Like, what's the game you recommend or you like a lot, Timmy?
I would recommend 2 games. Just Celeste and Hollow Knight. They're like really great. The story is amazing. Soundtrack is really good. Give it a shot. All right.
You want to give us more?
What?
You want to talk more about them?
Oh, really? Okay.
Why are they fun?
They're both 2D platformers ish. Well, Hollow Knight is a Metroidvania, but it also has like Souls-like elements because it's like really hard.
Yeah, platform.
And it's a platformer. It has a good story. Celeste is more linear, I guess, and there's like specific levels you have to beat in order to proceed. And it's more like mechanics focused, I guess, more gameplay focused than Hollow Knight. But they're both really amazing games, so highly recommend.
I'm gonna talk more about Hollow Knight if you're not gonna.
Okay, you talk
Hollow
about
Knight. Yeah, the world is super big. There's
Yeah.
a lot of content for the story. The characters are all really charming and well designed. And like it's an indie game that we've talked about, and it's like a really small team that developed it. You can tell that how much care they put into everything, and like yeah, overall it's just a game that has a lot of content offered for a low price. And like they've released like 3 DLC and they were all free. I think I've said this in like another episode.
Yeah.
And like yeah, just like for Hollow Knight, it's just super easy to get lost in the world and like immersed and like end up liking all the characters, and even like the most random one-off character you meet could be like super charming and popular.
Yeah, and it feels very like handcrafted. Like
Yeah,
everything
yeah,
is
yeah.
put there with a purpose. Like the secrets and
Yeah, that's
it's
like
very
I
fun.
guess a trait of like an indie game,
yeah.
which is another category, another genre of games, I guess. But like, yeah, another one of those big genres.
Okay.
Do you have another one you want to talk about, or?
What was I gonna talk about? You go first.
Okay. I guess I'll recommend Doom Eternal and Satisfactory.
All right.
Doom Eternal is the successor to Doom 2016, which breathed life back into the Doom franchise. And it's basically just hardcore heavy metal, but a game.
It's like okay, I think the premise.
Doom.
Yes.
Okay. What's
The premise is you're Doom guy.
You're overpowered.
You are Doom guy. You're just some random guy.
You're a one-man army.
One-man army, and you are thrown into the pits of hell to exterminate as many demons as you can find.
Yeah, the premise is literally just you are chaos.
Yes.
Yeah.
And you are gonna rip and
you
tear.
against hell.
Literally.
It's amazing.
It is.
It is amazing. It's
And the
just like
soundtrack.
hardcore metal playing in the background as you're playing, like blasting.
The Doom
your ears.
soundtrack is my favorite soundtrack for
Yeah.
any game.
It's
Yeah.
so crazy.
I listen to
really
those songs like every day.
Really hype.
literally.
So hype.
And then Satisfactory, I guess. It's a factory building game. Very, very chill. I love that game so much. By Coffee Stain Studios.
It's a good
Shout out
studio.
to
Good
Coffee
indie
Stain.
developer.
Coffee
Okay.
Stain
Good
Studios. Yeah, so Satisfactory is basically just you're on an island and you collect your resources and build machines that collect resources for you that build items.
Factory must grow.
Yes, the factory must grow.
It's
basically.
just an addiction.
It is an
Yeah.
It's
addiction.
super addictive. It's just expanding and making things bigger and bigger and more
Literally.
organized.
Chronic illness.
It's very satisfying, as in the name.
Yeah, Doom Eternal and
The Doom is also satisfying.
Doom is also
In a different
satisfying.
way. In a different way.
Yes, and in a more morbid way.
In a very
Yes.
different way. But yeah. Okay. So Doom
those are my
Eternal,
2 games.
satisfactory.
Yeah.
And for me, probably, I'm not cool. I only got 1 game, I
Okay.
think. Ori and the
Nerd.
Will of the Wisps.
Oh yeah.
That is like one of my favorite games of all time with Hollow Knight, but you talked about that already. It's another Metroidvania where it's like, I get it's very similar to Hollow Knight.
Mhm.
Again, big world, big open world, open 2D world, I guess. Super charming characters, a lot of care put into everything. There is difficulty, and then there's still it's really rewarding, and then exploration is heavily themed, and like all that. Good soundtrack, good art, very good art.
I think what makes it stand out is like the visuals are
Yeah,
just
exactly, the
amazing.
visuals.
Yeah, they're really
And I
good.
think in general, Metroidvanias seem to usually be like indie games that are like super high quality
Mhm.
because of how much care is put into like the world.
Yeah.
Because I think Metroidvania allows for like the biggest emphasis on like world building and like guiding your player from like to like slowly discover the world and like the story behind it.
Yeah, yeah.
So I think that's why it's really popular, and I am also part of that player base that really likes it.
Waiting for Silk Song.
I've been waiting for Silk Song for so long. We talked about that too.
Oh, okay.
I am one of the people that is waiting for a very long time.
Yeah, yeah.
3 years.
Yeah, 3 years.
No news.
No, there are some. Okay,
It's
There's
a little bit, but
a little.
not a lot. Okay.
They are working on it.
Is that everything?
Yeah, I think.
Yeah, I think
Okay,
so.
Yeah.
So thank you so much for tuning in, watching episode 4 of the rundown.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you to our special guest,
Yeah,
Timmy.
thank you, Timmy, for
Alright.
coming onto the
Alright, thank you, guys.
podcast.
Very
Thank you, guys.
interesting.
It was very
Speedrunning
fun.
and
It was
everything.
fun talking to you guys. Yeah.
All right. We'll see you guys in the next episode, I guess.
We're gonna have another special guest, hopefully.